Hey y'all. How's everyone doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. Who is all in the chat? And are you guys like getting used to daylight savings already? I know some places don't do it, but I don't know who does what these days. Who do we have in the chat? We have De Havilland. Hey De Havilland. Hey Ruth. Hey Dawn. Hey Dawn's mom. Glad to see you guys again. Long time no chat. Hey Sandy. Hey Nathan. All right. Well, Nathan, you said, I know we'll probably get into it later, but what are your thoughts on Disney finally dropping the vaccine mandate? Oh yeah, I did hear about that. It was inevitable that they were going to do it at some point, so, more power to them. It's up to, at the end of the day, they can run their business how they see fit. I think it'll be some time. I think it's inevitable that, should Steve Burton want to return, he's going to return. Obviously, I think they're going to invite Jason back at some point. Ingo, probably not so much. But yeah. I'm sure we'll see Jason again soon as long as Steve wants to come back. And we know he's been open about, or he's open to returning to the show. So, yeah. Yeah, we had daylight savings time too this morning. It never makes a difference for me. My body's going to wake up the same time it usually wakes up. It's just going to be, an hour earlier than usual. But I also went out last night, so I slept in a little bit more than I would have if I didn't go out. Checked out some bands. It's freezing cold though. I don't love going out in the winter time. But one of the bands that I had seen, they're called Chelation, and I really wanted to see them live just because earlier this year their drummer passed away, and I just want to show my support. Obviously, they have a stand-in for him, and I don't know them personally too well, but they are aware of me and what I do. So it was nice to talk to them, and I think I maybe only seen them live once before the pandemic, actually. So yeah. Hey Isaiah. Oh man, good to see y'all though. But yeah, I was just thinking in terms of daylight savings time. I'm like, some of y'all are probably already sleeping. So glad to see a lot of you are here. And I was on a little bit later too. I had to shovel my driveway. Super fun. Again. It's like minus 14 right now. But yeah, I am ready to talk about General Hospital if you are. So without further ado, welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH after show. Let's get into it. Ooh, De Havilland, you said in New Jersey it's so hot. I'm envious. Literally, I'm envious. Yeah, it's 22 degrees Celsius in Montreal too, so I'm even more homesick now than I was before. Damn them. And damn all the warm places right now. But yeah, let's get into it. I want to talk about Elizabeth first. So Elizabeth came face to face with both of her parents for the first time in over 25 years, but really the first time ever on GH. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. The first thing I want to say is that Becky Herbst freaking killed it. She slayed her scenes. I knew she would. And Elizabeth also said everything that I think I needed her to say to her parents right off the bat. How abandoned she felt. She listed off a bunch of huge moments in her life where most parents would drop everything on a dime for them. Like when she was raped, and when she had children, when she got married, when she's experienced loss, when she became a nurse, all the big moments in a girl's life. And of course, Jeff and Carolyn listed off their excuses and talked about their regrets, and she basically told them to shove it and nearly stormed out. All of that was perfect. It's the stuff that followed after that bothered me. Oh yeah, Dawn. Yeah, she sure did kill it. Laura was wearing a nun outfit. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But for sure, I got some things to say about Jeannie's return as well. But yeah, so like all that stuff with Elizabeth, that was great. But everything that followed afterwards, I just had to roll my eyes. All this nonsense with Reiko was so unnecessary and just seemed so convoluted in my opinion. Long story short, Jeff had an affair with Reiko. Elizabeth walked in on it. She confronted Reiko on the stairs and they struggled and Reiko fell down the stairs. Apparently the fall required her to have a blood transfusion, and the blood that was transfused into her was tainted with the disease that eventually killed her. The disease that Finn couldn't save Reiko from. And the whole time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, the hoops they had to jump through just to tie Finn into Elizabeth's past life was ridiculous and totally unnecessary. Isaiah, you said, I love Elizabeth getting a storyline like this. It's a great way to celebrate 25 years on the show, even though her anniversary was August 1st. And, you know, that's the thing. Like, there was a number of ways to put Elizabeth on a path to reunite with her parents without somehow tying Finn into it. And really considering that this is supposed to be a story that is celebrating Becky's 25th anniversary with the show, the only part he should have in the story at all, in my opinion, is the role of someone giving her moral support. And it just drives me nuts. Okay, good night, de Havilland. Good to see you. Why would they even tie Finn into Liz's story? Yeah, exactly. There was no need. There was a number of ways to have Elizabeth reunite with her parents without throwing Finn into it. But yeah, I don't know why the show just can't let Becky have Becky be the star in her own story for more than a few moments. Because I just think about how, you know, a few years back, they get Elizabeth's rapist out of prison, which is arguably the most iconic story that Becky has ever had as Elizabeth, the original rape storyline. But they made it all about Franco's reaction to her rapist being out, and Elizabeth had a supporting role in that story. And like, it's just, it seems like no matter who's writing, they don't want Becky to lead, and it makes me mad. It makes me super mad. Isaiah, you said Frank keeps shoving his pets down our throat. Jill started that trend, but Frank has honestly made it worse. But yeah, like, it just makes me so mad. Hey Albert, good to see you. Becky deserves so much better. I agree, Dawn. Oh man. But yeah, like, she had a supporting role in that story back then, and it seems like the writing is on the wall that she is going to become, you know, the person in the backseat of this story too, because eventually, you know, this story is going to circle around to Finn finding out that the woman that he's in love with, alongside with her father, are responsible for his wife's death, and it's going to be all about him dealing with that. And it's like, it makes me so mad for Becky and for the character of Elizabeth. Like, the writing is definitely on the wall for that to be a thing. And sorry guys, my phone's kind of tipping over. Yeah, like, the writing's on the wall. It's definitely gonna end up with Becky taking a back seat in her own story again. And it just grinds my gears, you guys. And as it stands, Finn is already dealing with another Weber already. A much more lethal one, though. Heather Weber, who is connected to Jeff through marriage. Though I'll admit I actually enjoyed their interactions. Ali Mills is doing a fantastic job in the role of Heather already. And, you know, she's got her mannerisms down. The way she speaks, like, Ali is nailing it, and I'm impressed. And you would think that recasting such an iconic role that was played masterfully from Robin Madsen since the 80s would be a death sentence for the character. But I'm enjoying her as much as I enjoyed Robin. So, you know, I don't hate Heather being back so far. She's doing a good job. She spent most of the time dissing Elizabeth because she's bitter that Elizabeth seemed to hop into a relationship minutes after Franco died, which, let's face it, she kind of did, but I digress. The reason Finn had to treat her is because some flesh-eating disease that could usually only be found in like foreign rainforests is eating at her feet somehow. God knows how she caught it. We know she's capable of coming and going from captivity on a whim because we've seen it time and time again with Heather. And I'm sure that's what's been happening, but I'm not too sure where they're going to go with this story. You know? Yeah, Ali truly does deserve a lot of credit for playing the role of Heather. Like, she's doing a great job. Isaiah said, even though I prefer Robin Mattson, I'm glad that Ali Mills is getting some airtime on a soap. B&B doesn't use her. Okay, she's from Bold and Beautiful. I don't know much about her as an actress, but I think she's doing a great job so far. Yeah, I'm impressed with her. I can't wait to see her more as Heather Weber. And I think that they'll utilize her well, given that the Webers are, you know, kind of making a comeback to the scene at this point. But what do y'all think? Because this is the first time that we've seen Jeff and Carolyn, you know, in 25 years. We haven't seen Carolyn at all. What are you guys' thoughts on the new actors playing them? Like, I think that, you know, they're doing a good job. Obviously, we haven't seen too much of them yet. And, I don't know. I think the only qualm I have about them is that well, Becky Herbst looks nothing like them. And usually GH is really good at casting, like, parents and children. Like, you know, you can see, like, similarities in them. But I just don't see any trace of Becky at all. She was the mom on OG Wonder Years. Ali Mills was? Or are we talking about Carolyn? Oh, the new Heather Weber. Okay. Cool. Oh yeah. Speaking of Heather as well, needless to say, you know, Finn treating Heather, he decides to shut her up by giving her a sedative. And even that doesn't seem to knock her out completely. Like, this girl needs a horse tranquilizer to knock her out. So I just thought it was funny. I bet she'll escape, though. Nathan, you said you like the actor and actress playing Jeff and Carolyn, but they are a bit miscast. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, I just figured that they would try to cast people that looked more like Elizabeth, or even have traces of Sarah. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems weird. But I'm willing to give them a chance. You know, I've heard good things about them as actors. They just haven't sold me on really being Elizabeth's parents yet. But they've only been in a couple of scenes, so time will tell. But let's move on and talk about the Hook killer. She is definitely going to escape. Yeah, she will. But yeah, basically the Hook killer. I hate that name. You know, it doesn't have a ring to it like the text message killer did. But yeah, Alexis received a letter from the killer, who reveals in the letter that she does have a rhyme and reason to her killings, which we kind of already knew. But you know, she basically states that she is going after people that have wronged her, and I quote, me and mine, hers and hers. People that have wronged her, she's going after. And Alexis called Jordan to let her know, and right away she realizes that the theory that all the kills are connected to Trina is correct. And she tracks down Jocelyn and Trina to let them know that they are likely in danger and that there's a killer after them, and that the killer's plan is likely to save Trina for last. They really are dragging out this Hook story. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Isaiah, for sure. But yeah, Jordan escorts Trina home, thinking it's best that she stays with them instead of at the dorm, and Joss stays at Carly's, of course. Jocelyn freaks out because she realizes that Cam is likely in danger too, because he stood up for Trina during the trial as well. And she wants to run to Kelly's to warn him, but Carly says that she'll take care of it and calls Drew, who just happens to be with Cam on a bridge that meant a lot to Oscar, of course. So he brings him back to Kelly's, but Carly didn't tell him why she was worried. She just said to be safe. And then while she was on the phone with Drew, Joss snuck out to go to Kelly's to warn him. And of course Dex happens to be there because he's outside of Kelly's watching Nina and Sonny bodyguarding them, and they're in Kelly's eating chocolate sundaes. And Jocelyn explains to Cam that the killer is going after people connected to Trina, and Dex tells Sonny, despite Jocelyn's disapproval, and Sonny takes her home while asking Dex to take Cam home once his shift is over, but Cam refuses to go with him, and Dex leaves. So that boy better not get hurt. I'm a little bit nervous because I feel like the writing is definitely on the wall that they're going to put Jocelyn and Dex together. Obviously, she's thinking about him all the time. She's been talking about how, her and Cam haven't been the same since everything that went down. She slept with him, but she just felt weird about it. And then she had a flashback of buttoning up Dex's shirt. So that says everything we need to know, I think. Yeah, they do drag out the storylines a lot, Ruth, for sure. I should mention earlier this week, by the way, that Drew told Carly about Ned's threat that could land him and Carly in jail. So they're having to keep their newfound love a secret. Carly was about to tell Sam too, and she clearly knows already, and I think Sam is probably happy for them. But of course, since they're having to deny that they are together, just to have deniability when it comes to potential charges against them if Ned follows through with that threat, we're probably going to see Sam trying to pry with their relationship for the next little while. But yeah, the funniest part of the whole sort of hook killer situation is that Drew goes to check in on Carly because he's worried about her because she sounded kind of scared on the phone, and of course she explains what's going on, but of course she's like, you can't be here, and he smooches her, and Jocelyn is watching in the corner like just baffled, what did I, how, yeah, exactly, Dawn. Joss's face at the end of Friday's episode. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, man, it was so funny. She's just like, what? Just like, the wheels are turning in her head. Oh, man. But yeah, Carly and Drew, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show's idea of a super couple. But let's talk about a returning real super couple, Robert and Holly. Holly is settling back into Port Charles, hanging out with Robert on Halloween, going over ideas on how to get Anna out of jail. And then Holly feels a little bit dizzy because they're inside his office, and I don't know why she feels dizzy. But they go out for fresh air. And basically, her old pal Sonny sees her, which is hilarious because they've never met before. And both Emma Samms and Maurice Benard went on the record to say how ridiculous they thought it was because they know they've never worked together, ever. So it doesn't make sense that these, Sonny was just super happy to see her and, going over and saying hi. It was so stupid. Oh, man. Let's see. Doing my girl wrong. Yeah. Well, let's discuss that too. Not feeling Carly and Drew. Yeah, me neither, Isaiah. You like them more than Sonny and Nina. Well, that's not too hard to do. Yeah. When Robert talks to Sonny alone, Holly goes off and makes a phone call revealing to someone Robert's plans to try and free Anna. And at that point, it was obvious to me that this had to do with Victor. And originally, I felt that maybe she was under some kind of mind control or something. But the next time we see them, we actually do get a window into what's really going on with Holly. When Robert drops her off to her hotel room, she sneaks out and meets up with Victor to talk more about Robert and his plans to free Anna. And we learn that he is holding something over her to do his bidding. And it's not a tarot card. It's a person. And basically, he says that he's got someone held hostage, and if she doesn't do exactly what he says, he will kill said hostage. Honestly, while they don't reveal the hostage's name, I would bet it's probably Luke. I guess there's also a possibility it could be Ethan, since we don't really know where he is. But it makes more sense that Luke is alive and being held hostage versus Victor actually being capable of killing Luke Spencer. No Cassadine has gotten the better of him. You know? Holly's not a friend of Sonny. The woman he harmed. Sonny's sisters, Courtney. During that virus storyline. Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Holly is technically partially responsible for Courtney's death and even Tony's. And whoever else died during that storyline. That made me roll my eyes. Yeah, these writers, man. But yeah, needless to say, Anna is likely going to be transferred to Pentonville, and it won't be pretty for a super spy to be in there, likely with the number of enemies she's put behind bars over the years. We also learned that that Victor has an interest in Peter's diamonds. And I bet you anything that those diamonds contain pieces of the Ice Princess, and he has plans on using them for his huge plan for world domination, or whatever he's been talking endlessly about for a year with no movement. What about Ethan? Could he be captured? It's definitely a possibility. I'm not ruling that out for sure. I think it's more likely Luke, but I mean, Ethan's like my next best guess for sure. Speaking of the Cassadines, though, Victor actually let Valentine check in on his daughter, under constant supervision, of course. Felicia does manage to get a hold of him and lets him know what's going on with Anna, but passes on the message to stay with Charlotte because she has a lot of people in her corner doing everything they can for her. Anna just wants him to be with his daughter and to look out for her. Obviously, Valentine wants to get Charlotte alone without supervision so they can get out of Victor's clutches. And thank God the nun in the church they were visiting happened to be Laura. Apparently, that's who Anna called a few weeks back to to help Valentine. And even Kevin met up to assist them as well. Now, whether they succeed on escaping with Charlotte is anyone's guess, but I suppose we'll find out this week. I feel a little bit weird about Laura helping Valentine. Like, I know that they've come a long way in terms of how they feel about each other, but even Kevin mentioned, like, hey, you like put a bullet in my arm trying to kill my wife once, and like, you know, he owes you, or he owes him. Like, so dumb. Oh man. So if you hear a wind blowing, that is my heater that is on. Could be multiple captives. That's true. But I mean, he did only mention one. And I think she did say him, so we know it's a guy. Yeah, Laura and Kevin globetrotting while Spencer is in prison. Yeah, that's swell. It's so dumb. But at least Laura's on her way back to Port Charles, I'm assuming. Assuming they get Charlotte out of there. Loved Laura's return. Yeah, I like when they have Laura in disguises, honestly. She played the role of a nun quite well. Could be Jason, Ethan. I don't think it's Jason, though. I don't think it's Jason. Only because, like, why would Holly care? They should bring Leslie Charleston and Denise Alexander back and give them stories. There has to be something going on with Leslie Charleston's health or something, because I think, obviously Monica loves to work, and there's clearly been portions of certain storylines where you would think that you would see Monica, and I feel like the writers, even though obviously Monica isn't on as much, they've never had an issue with utilizing Monica when she's needed. And there's just been too many moments where she is needed, where she's been absent. So there's something up. There's for sure something up. And I hate that we're kind of in the dark about it. They never found his body. Yeah, but why would Holly care? That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, I know Jason's probably alive, but why would Holly care? She doesn't know Jason. She doesn't give a shit about Jason. She's not going to do Victor's bidding for the sake of Jason. But Luke is definitely believable, and so is Ethan. Let's see. I mean, everything that we've talked about so far are kind of like the big storylines that we've seen. And now there's all these little things that we should probably talk about that probably most of us don't really care about too much, but we might as well. One thing to note was Carly and her newfound fresh start in life as Carly Spencer has been very shortly lived. Like, she's still, embracing that name, but, she's in town for like 2 minutes, and she runs into Sunny and Nina in public with the kids, which obviously she isn't too happy about. She confronts Sunny, but Nina was only a sponsor at the event that they were at. She was working and taking a break, but Sunny put his foot down, saying that Nina is important to his life, and it isn't completely up to her if Sunny wants Nina to be a part of his own kids' lives, which obviously she isn't thrilled about, but it is what it is. Isaiah, you said earlier in the year Leslie Charleston's sister committed suicide. Maybe she's still having trouble coping with it. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it could be as simple as maybe she just wanted to retire. Because, like, in hindsight, when you think about Christina Wagner, she didn't take much of a break after her son committed suicide. Or died of a drug overdose. I can't remember what it was now, but it's something really awful. And she did take time off for a few months, rightfully so, but she wasn't as gone nearly as long as I thought she would be. Which I'm grateful for, because I love seeing Christina Wagner on the show. But everyone grieves differently, so who knows? For all we know, someone had to find Jason's body and take care of him outside of the cave in Greece. Yeah, true. Halloween costume. Yeah, I guess that Laura as a nun thing happened during, technically during Halloween, though they weren't really acknowledging it there. Another thing that happened this week, Portia and Jordan also had another conversation about coming clean to Curtis because they've set their wedding date for Valentine's Day next year, and she thinks it's a bad idea to have this huge secret over them before their wedding. Portia just asks Jordan for time to let her tell him, because, right now their focus needs to be on Trina not getting killed. Let's see. What else? Oh, Willow. Willow seems to be kind of ready to tell Michael the truth about her cancer. She had been waiting for a call about her test results. And of course, Michael was like, why'd you have to take some tests? And she tried to play it off as like, oh, just precautionary things. But when she gets a call, she can't obviously hide that a doctor wants to discuss her test results, which, Michael clearly sees like there's something to discuss. And Willow does say like, no, I do want you to be there, because they're talking about spending the rest of their lives together, in sickness and in health, much like, a wedding, which I'm sure will happen at some point. But I feel like she wants to right now, but there's going to be something that happens that makes her not tell him. Because we know how the show goes. This is just what typically happens. Okay, maybe Luke is really dead. Victor has both Jason and Ethan, and Holly knows he has Ethan, or has Jason, and is telling Holly he has Ethan to get her to do his bidding. Yeah, but Holly would be able to know that Ethan's being held hostage, because, she could have just called Ethan. She clearly knows how to reach her son when it's necessary. But regardless, Disney just lifted their mandate for the vaccine. So at this point, we're seeing stuff that was written several months ago already and shot about a month and a half ago or so. So I don't think they would already kind of be bringing Jason into the fold when they didn't know at the time of writing this that the mandate would be lifted. So if anything, I think the only way we're going to start to hear more about Jason is probably, in a couple months from now, if the show decides to bring him back. And I think that they will, but we're just not going to see that play out this year at all, I don't think. If anything, it'll be something for early next year, like the spring. If they decide to bring him back, and I am confident that they will. But yeah, we're not going to see anything involving Jason for a while yet, I don't think. What else? Oh, Chase meets a potential song collaborator that is signed with Luke, named Blaze, much like Luke used to call Sky. And honestly, she's kind of an intriguing character and being played by a gorgeous actress. And she might just be what this idiotic storyline needs to spice things up a bit. Chase got the impression that she's not happy with Link either, and that could be used to his and Brooklyn's advantage. But if you ask me, I have a feeling that Link is one step forward ahead of the game and trying to fish out whether Chase and Brooke have anything sinister planned against him. Because I don't think Link is dumb. I think Brooklyn has been too confident and that she's getting one over Link. But he's no dummy. What else? I loved the nod to Sky. I miss Sky. I hope she comes back to the show someday. I really liked her character, and Robin Christopher is a great actress. And just always fun to watch. She has a Sky quality to her. Yeah, she definitely seems pretty badass. Like, she's intriguing to me. I wonder if that actress sings, though. Someone in here has got to be a professional singer. It ain't Chase. Moving on, though. Gladys almost oversteps her role as Sasha's conservator this week when Maxie and Sasha are trying to strategize how to stabilize deception with Lucy being MIA, and decisions on money and pay cuts have to be made to please their stockholders and appease them. But Sasha pleads her case to Gladys because she was against it completely, but she convinces Gladys that this is what's best for the company, and Gladys caves and lets her do that with her money. And essentially what they're planning to do is take pay cuts to stabilize certain things. Again, I really don't like the storyline because I don't want Gladys to be, a villain of a conservator for Sasha. because we've seen Gladys grow as a character for, you know, for a while. Like they've been doing good with her character and giving her layers and making her a good person. And I don't want her to be sacrificed at the altar of this like conservative story. And it's, if it wasn't so obvious that GH was trying to jump on the topic because it was so widely in the media with what Britney Spears went through, that they're trying to bring that into the soap with Sasha being a celebrity and needing someone to, you know, control her. And, you know, I just don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that. What do y'all think? Oh, also, Mac and Felicia finally tell Robert that he might have a son out there, and his name is Cody. And Robert just kind of smacks Mac because he hates secrets, of course, which, you know, now Holly's keeping a bunch from him. And, you know, he's excited to, or he's excited at the possibility of being a father to a guy. Don't care for Gladys and Sasha anymore. They can GTFO off GH. I mean, I don't mind either character, but they, with Brando gone, they really don't serve much purpose to the show. It's true, honestly. They're kind of dead weight, especially if they're not. I don't feel like they're gonna give Sasha a love interest anytime soon. So. Cody, shady guy. Yeah, he's shady. He's shady. Oh, but speaking of Cody, he, Britt, Scott, and Liesl were having dinner at, I think, Charlie's this week. And Britt was starting to cough a little bit, and Liesl's kind of keeping an eye, but I think Britt's Huntington's disease is going to come back and rear its ugly head, and that might have to do with her potentially exiting for a while, shooting a new show. But I don't know. I don't see Britt being gone long term, since the show is on the same network and shot in the same lot. But she might need an exit for a little while. I just hope they don't kill her off. Because that would be really disappointing to kill her off before Jason comes back as well. Let's see. And the only other thing to note, really, storyline-wise, is they showed Austin. And basically, he's a mob doctor that doesn't want to be one anymore. Riveting stuff. Austin is another character that is essentially dead weight at this point. It's annoying. At least we don't have to hear about Jason's name out of Britt's mouth for the billionth time when she leaves. Oh, man. But yeah, that's GH in a nutshell. There's not too much to talk about beyond, you know, that storyline-wise. I liked the week overall. I will say, and I think there was an interview with Emma Samms recently where she says that she feels for the first time that this is very much Holly. She kind of threw shade at how the character has been written probably in all of her returns since 2006, and that she hasn't felt like Holly at all in any recent storyline, which is true because we were talking about it earlier. You know, when Holly came back in 2006, she was, you know, holding the entire town of Port Charles hostage and putting people she cares about's lives in danger for, like, you know, for money, which didn't make any sense. And then, you know, the whole having Ethan thing, and, you know, it being Luke's son and not Robert's, and the whole rewrite that happened that made her look really bad. And then beyond that, any other return of hers since then have been pretty small, but kind of involve her, on some kind of caper or like little mission. So I don't know. It does feel really different this time around with Holly. And it just feels like they're kind of, because she's interacting with all these characters she used to interact with in her prime, I think that's definitely helping the situation, and that the character seems to be settling in Port Charles. Yeah, she's being forced to do Victor's bidding, but you can see how conflicted she is, and, they have her interacting with Robert, which really hasn't happened a whole lot in most of the returns that she's had. Barring, 2006 when she and Robert came back at the same time, and of course, Robert being involved when Ethan was running away from Helena Cassadine. They shared a scene then, but really they haven't shared other scenes since then. So this is the first time we're actually seeing Robert and Holly be Robert and Holly, and their interactions are very reminiscent of, how they interacted back in the day. And they still have chemistry up the wazoo. So, even that kiss was, they shared a kiss afterwards because Robert got a little bit worried. He felt like something was off with Holly, so he went back to check in on her at the hotel, and she was just getting back from meeting up with Victor. And you can tell she really wants to come clean to Robert, but I'm sure if she does, then Victor will kill whoever he's got held hostage. Robert is going to be bamboozled. He'll understand, but he'll be upset. Yeah, for sure. He knows how lethal Victor is, and he knows that Holly would never betray him unless she's being forced to. But I like that she did say, I may not remember what happened over the last 2 years, but I know that you were the reason why I was able to hang on. Obviously, she does know what's happened the last 2 years. Her memory is not gone. But, just the angst that came from her. I really enjoy Emma Samms as an actress, too. She is a class act, and she, I give her props because working through having long COVID must be a little bit nerve-wracking, but she did say in an interview as well recently that so far at the time that she had recorded that interview, because I think at the time she was still in LA shooting, she said that nothing bad has happened on set to her, so thank goodness. But she has already finished whatever portion of the storyline that she's been a part of this time round. But Tristan Rogers kind of went on record saying, it's on hold for now. And I just think that means the story's not done, but I don't think Frank Valentini wants to overwork her, and he's probably going to have her back in spades and let her rest for a while and come back just to keep her, keep her healthy. But yeah, they kissed, and I was just like, oh, my Robert and Holly loving heart. And her yawning afterwards was really cute. But yeah, I feel so bad for Holly. She hates that she's lying to all of her friends. And I love that even though Victor is, basically making her do things, that she's not afraid to sort of, put him on notice. She threatened to kill him anyway. And even Victor is very cautious with Holly because when they met up on the bridge, she was like, what did she say? Or she was asking where his muscle was. And he's like, I know better than to be completely alone with the Holly Sutton. Oh, man. Speaking of Holly and Victor, though, this Wednesday, we are reacting to something that involves them that you may not recall. Because this is not the first time we've seen this actor on General Hospital, and his character interacted with Holly and was even related to her. So we're gonna react to their scenes from the 80s. I wasn't gonna tell y'all, but I just couldn't hide it. So that's what we're gonna react to this Wednesday. Just scenes of the actors working together on GH prior to him being in the role of Victor. Oh man, but yeah, that's all I got here, guys. What did you guys think of General Hospital this week? Because again, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed a lot of it. Everything had its ups and downs, you know. Like I said, the scenes with Becky Herbst confronting Jeff and Carolyn after 25 years, riveting stuff up until the Reiko stuff. Holly working for Victor and seeing the angst that it's created for her, awesome stuff. I think the entire cast is doing a wonderful job with these storylines right now. So, and that's the thing that I love about GH, is that even though the writing is bad from time to time, the actors are good enough that they can make it work. So we're really lucky to have a talented cast like that. So I gotta catch up with your guys' comments too. Don, you're over Austin. Why didn't they do this when Austin first came on to the show about him being a mob doctor? I don't know. Like, they made this whole thing with Mason seem like it was a much more sinister thing, and like, we've seen doctors treat mobster people like, you know, under the what do you call it, under the cover before. But it's just Mason sending people from Pawtuck over to him to get treated without having to alert the police about a gunshot wound or whatever kind of injury they've been getting. It was an up and down week. Great acting. We love every soapy minute. Yeah, great actors all around. We're really lucky to have the cast that we do on General Hospital. And I really love that we're seeing so much of the veterans lately. Like, we're seeing so much Holly, so much Mac and Felicia, so much Anna. Laura's back now too. Like, you know, these are the characters that I love on GH. So, you know, because it's like getting a little glimpse into GH's prime. Because they still have the insane chemistry that they had back in the day when they worked together, which is nice to see. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. We can end it here. I don't know if you guys want to bring up anything else, but it is almost 11 o'clock my time. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm just going over my notes and seeing if there was anything I left out, but I don't think so. I think we got it all covered. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Again, we'll be live this Wednesday. We're going to react to Holly and Victor in the 80s. And I will see you then. But if you liked this live stream, please give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. All right, bye.